Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we're going to be talking about a few different things. Number one, what is an oxygen tank? Number two, what type of people actually need to use an oxygen tank? Number three, what type of supplies do you need to use an oxygen tank? Number four, what tanks do we carry in store? And number five, how do you safely store the oxygen tank away so that you can use it for later? Okay, so number one, what is an oxygen tank? An oxygen tank is basically a storage vessel for pure oxygen at 90% or greater. So in simpler terms, it's basically a way to store oxygen so that you can get it directly into your lungs, and it's probably the most common form of oxygen that people know about. But there are different sizes out there, so you should probably consult your doctor before you actually go out and make that purchase. So this brings me to question number two, which is what type of people actually need to use an oxygen tank? So this question is going to be best answered by your doctor because they're going to be able to tell you what type of tank or what setting to use the tank based on the certain symptom or condition that you have. Okay, so now we're going to talk about number three, which is probably the most important step, which is what supplies do you need to actually use the oxygen tank and how do you put them on. So I'm going to show you this firsthand. So this is an oxygen tank that we have. It's just for demo purposes only. I actually don't carry this type of size in the store. We carry E-tanks, which I'll get to in the next step. But this is going to be for demonstration purposes only. It's going to be a regulator. So this is going to be with a CGA 870 connection, and that's going to fit most home style oxygen tanks. So definitely check out if you already have some supplies, what type of connection you have on your regulator, so you know that it'll fit our tank. The next thing you'll need is going to be a wrench key. This key is basically going to be used to turn the tank on and off so you can store it away when you're not using it. And the last thing you'll need is going to be a cannula or a nasal cannula tubing. This is going to be the tubing that you plug into the regulator and ultimately into your nose so that you can get the oxygen into your lungs. So I'm going to start by showing you guys how to actually put the regulator onto the tank. So first, you're going to find these two pins on the regulator. So 1 and 2. And then you're going to match them up with these two pins on the tank. So 1 and 2. So all you're going to do is unscrew the thread and then slip it on and tighten it up. So you're going to want to make sure that this is pretty tight so that there's no leaks later on. And you can see from the top that it's really close to the valve, so you know there's not going to be any leaks. The next thing you want to do is put this tubing into this bottom part of the regulator, just like that. And make sure this is tight as well, because any leaks will, waste the oxygen, so you don't want to do any of that. And then after that, you can put the tubing on into your nose like this. And the last step is to take the wrench key and put it on top of the valve. And then you're going to turn it, I think clockwise. And you might hear a little pop. That means that the valve just opened. And you'll also be able to tell when this mark hits the green, which is 2000. We've actually used a little bit of it, so you won't see it full right now. But typically, if you're getting a brand new tank, then you will see this at the green mark, meaning that it is full. So after it's on, you can actually turn this valve right here. And this is what's going to go from 1 to 15. 15 being the highest amount of pressure that's coming out of the regulator. Some tanks will have other regulators that you can use, which will go from 1 to 8 or 1 to 5 for pediatric regulators. It really depends on which one your doctor prescribed for you. And basically, when you're done using it, you're going to put this setting back to 0 and then turn the tank back off so that you know that it's not leaking anywhere when you store it away. And that's going to be the safest way to be able to use the tank. Okay, so number 4, what type of tanks do we carry in store? So like I mentioned before, we do carry E-tanks, also known as M26 tanks, and these hold about 680 liters of oxygen, which is the maximum amount that we're allowed to carry as durable medical equipment providers, and they do stand about 3 feet off the ground. So they're pretty similar to the tank that we were using earlier in the demo. However, they are a little bit bigger, but you can still hold them in one hand and they're still pretty portable. All right, so the last question is number 5. How do you safely store oxygen? So whether you're using the tank or not, the safest way to store the tank is going to be standing up, and the most responsible way to store it is going to be using a tank cart, because that is going to be a great way to keep it portable, and also keep it secure so that it doesn't tip or fall over. You also want to keep it away from any heat sources like a stove, microwave, or even while you're smoking. You don't want any type of smoke near the oxygen tank because it is a form of gas, and any type of smoke can be dangerous to you or your environment. So I was hoping to keep this video as short as possible, so I apologize if I missed out on any major details that you were hoping to get the answer for. Even if you have questions regarding something else other than oxygen, then please email us or call us, and we'd be happy to answer any other questions that you have. And thank you for watching this video.